Yeah, picking winners. I've been looking forward to this show all week long. You see JBC, you see stats. I'm holding. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go down the big slate of NFL games. We've got 2 Monday night games we're not going to discuss on this show Sunday night either, but we'll get down the whole main slate in the NFL. We got 5 college football games that the boys are going to break down too from the betting side, including not really my backyard, but like my next door neighbor out in Boulder, Colorado State, where the 2 head coaches are talking shit to each other. We got Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Mississippi State. I hope Kansas State routes Missouri because I hate Missouri because I went to Kansas. And then we got Washington and Michigan State. Wonderful to see the boys here. Last week, Stats had the red light on behind him. He was in the red light district. We tried to cover him up when he had an orgasm, but it didn't work. JBC, last week you were wearing a Panthers jersey. What's going on this week? And I really can't see what it says. Is that a Whataburger hat?
It's a brewery by my house.
Okay.
But yeah, this is the same. This is an Aaron Brooks jersey. I just threw on the first one I saw.
Wow.
Yeah, I looked at that and I'm like, that was one of the 3 Aaron Brooks jerseys that was ever sold.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
That's impressive. What other jerseys are in there that are completely just out there, dude?
You'll find out. My favorite is Biaka Batuka.
Tim Biaka Batuka with the Giants?
No,
with the Panthers.
Panthers.
Oh boy, Tim Biaka Batuka, the Michigan legend. Stats, you got any jerseys besides for the Oakley and Hernandez and Aikman jerseys behind you?
I've got a rule about wearing jerseys.
Yeah.
Right. One, I never wear them, but the rule is you can't wear the jersey of someone younger than you. I think it's a good rule. So you kind of, Aaron Brooks is older than you, you could wear the jersey.
Aaron Brooks is older than me.
He is, definitely. I know no one looks older than you, but yes, he is older than you.
So that's interesting. I will not wear a jersey with another man's last name on it. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. But it's like, when you used to, you see some like 55-year-old dude with an Aaron Judge jersey on, you're like, come on, man. Like,
I mean,
can't do it.
Your last name's
you guys are just haters.
Yeah.
Boomers.
If your
you can wear guys older than you. That's it.
Yeah. It's not saying. Thank you, AP, for the tweet. You'll want to watch this show, he says. JBC plus 19.05 units in September. Statsational plus 28.9 units in September. Holden Kushner, a very nice follow. I actually had a good week 1, AP. Give me a break. We'll try and follow it up here in week 2. What do you mean don't be hating? Give me a break, AP. That was just a mean thing to say to me, but I also found it funny at the same time. Stats, what's going on? I got to tell you, Tony, Big T, post a picture of you. You're walking out of a speakeasy with a beautiful blonde with a leg tattoo. How high did the tattoo go?
No, that was San Diego. That was during. I happen to know that young lady, and so when we were out in San Diego, we got together for dinner. So
yeah, during the $50,000 best ball draft, he just abandoned ship and heads out with this chick. And
I wasn't drafting. You were doing. You were doing the drafting. You did just fine, and I was having dinner, overlooking the beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean.
But our creeper, Big T, took a picture of you holding hands, walking out. Now, does it?
We're walking into the hotel.
No. That's walking out. That's what I was walking by you guys. Now, I intentionally, it's a resort. It's like a maze. I intentionally did not want to walk their way, and I thought that route that I was taking was not by them, and of course it was. So Big T snuck a photo.
But the night didn't stop there. Please, Stats. Please tell me it didn't.
That actually was the end of that night.
No, come on, Stats.
John's lying. He's lying.
He's got to be lying.
Back to his room. I saw them go back to his room.
I did not go back to the room.
You just nailed that whale tail, and that makes me so proud.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you the truth. That nothing happened.
All right.
That's but she's a friend from a few years ago.
I don't believe you. Yeah, I don't believe you. Stats, JBC, coming off a very good week 1. JBC, can you please recap what happened on this show last week, betting wise?
I picked every game correctly. No, I'm kidding. But I definitely, I think I picked every game for you guys, and I think it was like 10-5, 9-6.
Yeah.
But the bets that the premium bets I put up in the Discord were 5-1, so that was solid.
Hey, Stats, I found the proptimizer this week. I just can't keep my eyes off of it. My lady is just getting very jealous. She's like, pay attention to me, not the proptimizer. So before we get into this slate, the NFL slate, please, will you tell people what we have to offer that's brand new on the bet side? Because if you go to player props on the bet side, what is the proptimizer? Because it's amazing.
Yeah, you got two different aspects of it. So you could, if you're betting props against the sports books, we've got projections in there based on the Sharp app and the Sharp app projections, and then you can see where the edges are on certain props for NFL, MLB, and then certainly when we get the NBA and NHL going. But also, if you're a Prize Picks player, you can take a look at that, and then we take what the sports books have as a line on the props, convert that into a projection, and then use the sportsbook projection against Prize Picks. So I was just messing with that before we came on, and it updates in real time. I mean, there was, I believe, I just saw a tackle prop that, like, as I was getting it, Caesars moved this prop from like 4.5 to from 4.5 to 5.5, and it was still sitting at 4.5 on Prize Picks, and you had like maybe a 10-minute window to get it in before Prize Picks moved. So you got to be on top of it. It's moving in real time, and you can really get some good prices and pick off Prize Picks because they're going to move after the sports books do. So I kind of like that.
I did hit a CJ Stroud prop to the over, and I wrote it up and I liked it. There's also some Justin Herbert in there, just every player, so many sports. Check it out. You can sign up right now, not just the DFS side. We got a bet side, NFL 17% off for life. This code's going away very soon. So if you haven't already jumped in, these guys are proven winners. Our DFS side, proven winners. NFL 17% off the lifetime of your subscription. Boys, let's get into this slate. We got Green Bay, Atlanta. Packers 41-26 under LaFleur against the spread. That's the best mark in the NFL over the last 4 seasons. Pretty interesting number there. I'm not a big trends guy, but I thought that was an interesting one that stood out. JBC total here is 40.5. Atlanta 2.5-point favorites at home in this game. I didn't mind the money line. I'm seeing money line now around 115. That dropped a little bit. What do you think of the Packers and the Falcons? You got a bet here?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite games of the week. Green Bay last week, obviously the Bears imploded a little bit. And, Jordan Love didn't have to do a whole lot. And, I still want to see it from him. You talked about LaFleur being 41-26 or whatever, but, all those games were with Aaron Rodgers, so you can kind of throw that out the window. I think Atlanta on offense, they're better across the board other than at quarterback, same as last week against Carolina. Defense, comparable. Green Bay, strong defense. Atlanta's defense has been playing well. They look great on paper. This line opened at like Green Bay plus or minus 1.5, quickly moved to Atlanta as the favorite. As long as it's under 3, I think you go with Atlanta.
As long as it's under 3. And what about the money line? Would you just hit the money line if you get it at 115 somewhere?
Go ahead and lay the points.
Go ahead and lay. Okay, very good. All right, let's hear it from you. Stats. Give me a little rundown of Green Bay at Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where JBC's coming from here, but I don't have a strong opinion on the game, and I would actually lean the other way. I kind of like Green Bay a little bit more than Atlanta, but it's not a game for me that I really want to bet. So if he has a strong opinion, I would feel better about his side of it than my side. I did see so far some sharp money coming at -1 on the Green Bay side of this game. So we'll see. I haven't seen where the square money's coming in, although it does look like it's kind of split when we look at the handles on this one. Kind of looks like it's split between the bets and the money that I'm looking at. As far as the total, though, I actually think this game goes under. I like the game. I know it's a low total, under 40. I think we see low points in this game, and I'll take this game. I think the Atlanta defense is better than people give them credit for. So I like the game on the under.
Vegas Buffalo. I've been taking a lot of shit for my Hunter Renfrow play last week on the DFS side. Wasn't targeted, barely out on the field. Things happen. Jacoby Myers is down now. Maybe Renfrow gets in the game. I just want to duck and cover and stay away from that altogether. So we got Vegas visiting Buffalo with the Bills. What a devastating loss of the Jets week 1. I did watch the whole Raiders game. Josh Jacobs did not look good. He wasn't efficient. 2.5 yards per carry. 48 yards on 19 carries, was mildly involved in the passing game. 2 catches, 23 yards. JBC. So I look at Buffalo And this line is now 8.5, 9s I'm seeing out there, total between 46.5 and 47. Do you want to back the Bills coming off a loss?
No, I'm going the other way. I think that the Raiders offense, even though they didn't put up that many points in Denver, they showed me more than I thought they were going to. And I don't think that they're going to struggle to score nearly as much as the Jets did last week. Well, Zach Wilson, not a whole lot to write home about, but it seems like it's too many points on the road for a team that is really not that bad in Vegas. So I'm going to take the points.
All right. Stats, you got to play in the Buffalo Raiders game.
Again, not a bet for me, but I'm going to go against JBC. I kind of like I like Buffalo to cover it if I have to make a pick on it. So I don't mind this. I think Buffalo you went up against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in football last week. They were embarrassed, quite frankly, offensively. I know Allen just did not look like Josh Allen. I mean, I think the questions of just anyone who was questioning Josh Allen's abilities after last week's game, I think is ridiculous. So we'll see a big bounce back this week. And I know we're not doing a lot of DFS, but I think Josh Allen stacks this week are going to be really, really they potentially undervalued, and I think that's where we could potentially see the nuts on an Allen Diggs type of stack this week. So I do like Buffalo. I like them to cover. I know it's a big line, a big number, but I like it. And if I have to take the total on this one, I like it I like this game to the over.
You don't think Allen's going to be the chalk? I know we're going to focus on betting here, but I do think that's an interesting point. I feel like him and Diggs should be the chalk.
They should be the chalk. There's a couple other decent games out there. So he may be the chalk, but I think it's going to kind of be spread out. So it's one of those where I think you can get over on that stack and be in good shape this weekend.
I want to remind everybody that we got 16 games, 7 of these game stats, as you and I were talking on the stats dump early in the week. 7 of these 16 games have totals at 40 or under. So there's a lot of low totals out there, and we'll see how the guys want to adjust to that. We got the Ravens visiting the Bengals, total here 46.5, with the Bengals laying 3 points at home. Ravens, though, JBC, they're going to be without 2 of their best offensive linemen, no Ronnie Stanley and no Tyler Lindenbaum. So we might have some Lamar Jackson running this week. Any take on a side or the total in a divisional matchup, Ravens-Bengals?
I think this is a classic case of people overreacting to what we saw last week. The Bengals should be laying more than 3 points at home to the Ravens. So I think it's a pretty simple take the Bengals.
That's it. All right. Stats. Do you want to go against the grain again with JBC? Or are you on his side, or is it a fade here?
He actually surprised me because I know how much he does not like the Bengals. I know how he likes to get on Big T and with his Bengals. So I was expecting a Baltimore pick here, but I agree with him wholeheartedly. There's going to be a big overreaction here to the Cincinnati and how poorly they played. Baltimore didn't look all that great themselves last week, but playing subpar competition. I like what you said as far as being a little bit banged up. I think Cincinnati will be able to cover the 3. I have not put this one in yet as a bet, but definitely leaning that way. So I like Cincinnati here, and I think the public is coming in on Baltimore, so I don't mind fading the public.
JBC, you going to roll with this on the sheet, or is this this is something you're just talking about on the show right now and waiting for the final decision?
Cincinnati, I haven't put it in yet. So
okay. All right. And obviously minus 160 on a money line, we're not going to bother with, but 3 points. That's where it is. As P. Lally says, smash the like button. That'd be great. We'd love a thumbs up. These guys work their asses off. We all work our asses off. It's football season. Not only do we have football going on right now with the NFL, college football, betting, and DFS. Again, we're going to get to 5 college games at the end of our NFL slate. We're still grinding baseball. I mean, you guys throwing the cores up there, player props, sides, totals, everything. So Major League Baseball, we got the NBA, our bread and butter, coming up just a few weeks away. So it's a very, very exciting time.
Tony,
Houday is back. Houday is back.
Bengals are going to roll this Sunday.
Oh, boy. What does he say? 6 to midnight. I think you just got him 6 to midnight by just saying that alone. Good job. Good job, JBC. Seattle, Detroit. Jared Goff, very good at Ford Field. He's a much better player. This is just a DFS note, 21.6 fantasy points per game at home, just so you know. And if you look at betting, this guy does play better in Detroit. The line here is 4.5, 5. So the Lions laying points at home against the Seahawks. This was 6.5. So a lot of money has come in on the Seahawks side to push this thing down. 47 is the total. JBC. I mean, the Seahawks looked awful. The Lions won on national television. Can you make a case for the Seahawks?
Yeah, I mean, I've been very anti-Seahawks from the beginning, but this line is just it's a little too high. I don't see how they don't keep it within a field goal. You got a shootout going on. You talk about what's going to be the chalk in DFS. Like, this is it to me. Both sides, and I really think that the Seahawks keep it with they're not going to have any problem scoring. The Lions won't have any problem scoring either. But you take the underdog in that situation. Kind of like last night. You knew the Vikings were going to be able to score. Take the underdog.
Yeah, this is the second highest total on the board. So again, it's just 47.5. Stats, let's look at the Seahawks and the Lions. Are you going to go another game disagreeing with JBC? And we're not doing this on purpose either. This is just, last week they were in agreement. This week, they're not on the same side. What about this one, Stats?
Yeah, so he actually surprised me a little bit with this as well, because I know how bearish we both are on Seattle as far as the season goes. We told you last week, fade Seattle going into the year. I think they showed you in week 1 that they are not going to be a playoff team. They're not going to I don't think they get over their number. So I have a hard time here taking Seattle, but I do agree it's too many points. So I'm going to I'm a little neutral on this one. Force my hand. I'm gonna take Detroit. I do think Goff. I know it's a lot of points. Goff at home, as you mentioned last year, as far as DFS goes, this game blew up. I think you needed like 4 players with the quarterback in this game last year. Both quarterbacks blew up. That was sort of like we didn't realize how good Geno Smith was going to be. I think this was like the shock game for Geno, like 3rd week of the year, whatever it was. So a lot of people are going to be on this one, which is why I think potentially you might get the Diggs or the Allen stacks maybe a little bit under-owned, especially because that line is a little bit higher. People like to stay away from the more than a touchdown line as far as in DFS and stacks because they're worried about the blowout. But yeah, in this game, I mean, I would lean towards the Detroit side of this game. I think they probably cover. But again, this is one that I'm kind of up in the air on, only because I just don't believe in Seattle. I don't believe in Geno, and I like Goff at home, that I'll lean towards Detroit.
I got the Seahawks at 6, and it's down to 4.5. So this thing's moving quickly. So a lot of money coming in on the Seattle side. Again, JBC, you're shaking your head there. And everybody saw what the Lions did in Kansas City. It's a good team. I don't think the Seahawks are nearly as shitty as they were in week 1. So
I don't think the Lions are as good either. So
you don't think the Lions are as good either?
No, the one line I always like to say is nobody is ever as good or as bad as you think they are in the NFL.
Especially the last week. And this was the first week. This was the first week. Everybody wants to overreact to what we saw. This is just what's going to happen. You're going to see this on a week-to-week basis. All right, time to hit the stop button. JBC, I need to know more about your personal lives a little bit. It's week 2. You're more comfortable with me. When was the last time you took your wife out on a date, buddy?
Oh, man.
It's been a long time.
She's been traveling for work a lot, man. We were in Vegas like a month or 2 ago.
Okay.
I think the better question is, when's the last time your wife took you out on a date? That's
also valid. Yeah. Yes. My wife is, she runs the household.
Does workbench activity go down during NFL, or does it go up to relieve tension?
NFL, it probably goes up. Basketball is when it goes down because you're just like, she'll be asleep by the time I am done working. But NFL up.
You should talk to JSU about that, because JSU, what his move is, and he knows this, and everybody knows this if you've been watching long enough, he will sneak up to his bedroom and just start dry humping his wife. And then at that point, she gets very excited and he takes care of it. So I think that might be a move you want to try. You have his information. I recommend you try it. Now, Stats, the other thing was you were talking with the boys the other day. Do you really go to speakeasies?
No, someone brought up speakeasy. No, I don't go to speakeasy. I was actually talking about how I'm not a huge fan, only because remember we were mentioning just how long it takes to get a drink at some of those places.
I've never been to a speakeasy. So no, I don't
go to these places, they're like craft cocktails all the time. And I just don't have time to wait 15 minutes per drink on my cocktail. I need the cocktail the cocktails that I order get poured directly from the bottle into another glass with a big cube of ice in it, and it takes about 10 seconds for that entire process to go down. That's what I like. When they're muddling things and shaking and doing all way too much time for me.
Interesting. Shawnee, 100%. Couldn't go an hour without any setting, professional or casual, without talking about sex in some way, shape, or form. I do remember talking to the boys when they said, "Hey, Holden, we want you to come on as a host." And basically all we did was talk about sex for a good 45 minutes. And they said, "You're hired." So it's definitely my wheelhouse. I've got to bring out the best of my side with these guys bringing out the best of their side, which means hit the like button, and it's time to get into Indianapolis and Houston. This is interesting just from a player side. I haven't hit a Nico Collins prop yet, but he finished week 1, and I couldn't believe this because I watched a lot of the Houston Ravens game. He had the 3rd most air yards on targets behind Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown. Fascinating stuff to me. Colts, Richardson, Texans, Stroud, 1.5 is the line with the Texans favored at home. 39.5 total here, JBC. Do we want to invest in this?
It's a similar situation to, I think, the Atlanta game where you have, the Colts opened as a favorite and immediately the Texans got bet to favorite. I didn't understand why the Colts were a favorite to begin with. And, the Texans, honestly, to me, are a better team, and you're getting them only at -1 at home. Houston's the play.
Stats. Is Houston the play? Laying the points? Maybe a 1?
Typically, Houston, when I'm looking at my model, Houston would usually trigger as a play here, but the Colts triggered for me as a play. So, and I got this in, and yesterday I thought I got a great line because I got them as a dog, and now they've gone, and then they were a favorite. They were favored as of yesterday when I looked at it, and now they're actually a slightly larger dog than where I got them. I took on a money line like +105, and now you can get them at +110 on the money line. So what looked like a good one was not so good for me. I totally understand where JBC is coming from on this game. I don't know if they're the better team. I like what I saw out of Richardson, though. It's only game 2. You can't expect all that much, but I think there's a lot of upside there for Richardson. Will we see it here in the second week? I don't know. The Houston team, certainly probably better than, I think it's kind of what he was saying earlier, where teams aren't nearly as good or bad as you think they are in the NFL. So Houston's probably not as bad a team as we think. The Colts on the road, it does seem crazy that the Colts, one of the worst teams in the league, would be a favorite, or at least close to a favorite against anybody. But of course, if it's going to be against anyone, it's going to be Houston. All I can tell you is my model tripped up Indianapolis on this one. I hammered it, and now I'm in at slightly worse a price than I was earlier in the week, but I still like the Colts here.
All right, our next game, we've got the Chiefs visiting the Jaguars. We've got Kelsey back. He's going to play this weekend. He was twerking on the field today, no joke. In 2 games against the Jags last year, 20 catches, 179 yards, 3 touchdowns. So I see 3.5s everywhere in the industry, but Bet River Sugar House has it as the Chiefs -3 on the road. Highest total of the week, 51.5 is the total here, JBC. And you and I were talking about this game before the show, and I know where you're going. Why don't you tell the people where you're going?
I think the Chiefs are going to smash them. They're not going to struggle to score with Kelsey out there. It's not going to be like it was last week. They're going to put up 31-35, and I think they have no trouble.
Stats, are you going with the Chiefs here on the road? Can't imagine they dropped to 0-2. This is supposed to be the leap year here for the Jaguars. Any thoughts on the side? And then the total at 51.5.
Well, the problem is everyone says that there's no way the Chiefs could go to 0-2, but to get to 0-2, you have to go to 0-1. So they only have to go lose one more game, right? So, but everyone's of that mindset, and that's what we're seeing. The public's really coming in on Kansas City. I saw some sharps hitting the Jacksonville side. I'm kind of in my brain, I kind of agree with the Kansas City side of this game, but I don't like taking the same side as the public, and it seems like the public really is going to be all over Kansas City. So I'm going to lean towards Jacksonville on this game. It's another one for DFS purposes that's going to be heavily played. So that's why I was saying we'll see the risk spread out at quarterback a little bit on the 3 games that I mentioned. So that's why of all of them, I do like Allen as the bounce back, although we'll see some scoring in this game as well.
51.5 total. Last week, the one game we had with the high total like that blasted through the over with Miami and the Chargers. I hate betting just overs on these games, but my God, Kelsey's back in there. We saw what the Jaguars have offensively. And really the Chiefs, I didn't think played that poorly against Detroit defensively. I just didn't see it, but I still don't find them to be an upper echelon team on that side of the ball. The Jaguars have some issues protecting Trevor Lawrence. There's just so many sides that we can take here on that total. And it's a complete fade for me. Any lean there, JBC, on the total?
Well, I will say this. If you're going to take the over, make sure you get 51 rather than 51.5. 51 is a key number for over-unders. And, it's kind of like the 48 last night where, the Vikings were down 27-14. And if they score and the Eagles kill the clock, then it lands right on 48. Same exact situation can happen with 51. If you're going to take under, wait for 51.5. If you're going to take over, take on 51.
All right, next game, Bears, Bucks. It's the Bucks 3-point. I'm seeing 2.5s, 3-point favorites at home. Low total here, 40.5, 41, 41.5. So I'm seeing it between 40.5 and 41.5. We will have Alan Williams, the Bears defensive coordinator, miss the game. So Matt Eberflus is going to move over and he will assume the defensive coordinator duties. He's done that before. We got Baker Mayfield, who beat the Vikings last week. On the other side of things, Justin Fields really struggled, JBC. Any take in this game? Because I don't think the Bears are quite as bad as what they showed last week.
This is one of my bigger bets this week. I already got in on the Bears +3, and I really like the money line too. The Bucks were. It was great getting 5 on the road against the Vikings when everybody thought the Vikings were good. Now that everybody realizes the Vikings are kind of mid. The Bears getting a plus number on the road in Tampa is a gift to me.
All right, so that's an official play here. Bears +3, Bears money line, buck at $1.25.
Yeah.
All right, stats. Do you have the conviction that JBC does on the Bears and the Bucks? Because again, coming into the show, I said to myself, the Bears just aren't as bad as they were last week against Green Bay, and I don't think the Bucks are as good as they, at least offensively, as they were in their win over the Vikings.
Well, I agree with you, and I agree with JBC on this one. When you look, I think Chicago comes out, they score. They're going to be able to score on Tampa. I think Fields does well in this game. When you look at that week 1, Green Bay had all summer to prepare for a player that they have played against a couple of times. It's a unique, obviously their offense is more unique than a lot of the other offenses in the NFL. Certainly a Cousins offense that they prepared for last week is totally different than this Fields offense. And it's just not the type of player that you play every week. So I think the Bears come out here and they'll be able to do a lot more things offensively than they were able to do against Green Bay. So I like that. And I think now the total got absolutely hammered. I think it went down from like 44.5 down to 40.5, 41 at some places. I think that now is overdone. So I think if you want to take a side of that, you could probably look towards the over. I do think both teams will be able to get some points on the board, but yeah, the +3, I think the Bears might be the better team here. So I'll take the 3 points. And I think, like I said, I think Fields will be able to get them to 24 points on the game.
Nothing on the money line?
I don't mind that money line bet at all, but I'll take the 3.
Okay, very good. That'll be going in. And just so everybody knows, I use Unabated for my lines, unabated.com. It gives you sides, totals, history of the lines, money line. So everything you're going to want. It's NFL, it's NCAA football, it'll be college basketball, Major League Baseball, lots going on. So just let you know what I use, Unabated, when I'm looking for all the lines that we have right here. Okay, let's continue to move along on this show. And our next game is going to be the Chargers and the Titans. Here's an interesting one because I can't say enough bad things about Brandon Staley, JBC. This guy, it really is amazing. And then I'm watching last week, everybody's blaming Joe Lombardi because the guy doesn't throw, because he didn't have Herbert throw downfield. And average depth of target was 4.1. Last year for Herbert, it was 6.9. He was 35th out of 36 qualifiers. Only Matt Ryan didn't go deeper. I just don't understand what the hell is going on here. Now, on the other side, Everybody talks about Josh Allen, Kadarius Toney. I think you could throw Ryan Tannehill in the mix as the biggest piece of shit performer last week. Not as a person, I'm sure Tannehill's a very nice guy. Huh?
You covered the spread.
Yeah. Oh, we were very happy about that, weren't we? We talked about that one on the show last week, but here we go again. And what do we got? A 3-point spread and a lower total in this game. Talk to me here, JBC. Any plays in the Titans and the Chargers?
Yeah, I'm going to go right back to what I went to last week. You're seeing a lot of 2.5s creep up across the board too.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans getting 3 at home against the Chargers. It's just not like Tannehill's not that bad, and the Chargers aren't that good for them to be getting this many points at home. So take the Titans 3, take the money line, log it up.
Oof. And then what about the total at 45? Is it just a stay away, or you got something here?
I think it's going to be a similar game to the Chargers played last week. I think they're going to go over the total.
Okay. Stats, Chargers, Titans, side, total, anything here?
Yeah, I love the Titans in this one. Chargers cannot stop the run. So I think you're going to get a little bit more Henry than we got last week. I like the under on attempts last week from Henry. I think you're going to see a little bit more Henry this week. So I like his over on attempts, rushing attempts. But yeah, I don't think they'll be able to stop him. So I love the 3. There's no way the Chargers should be a 3-point favorite on the road. This Charger team, I agree with you with Staley. I had such high hopes when I saw this guy taking, early in his career when he was taking those chances on 4th down. I'm like, boy, this guy's he's utilizing the analytics perfectly. And then he would do some things in the end of 4th quarters that were not analytically based. And I have no idea what he was doing. So I'm like, well, maybe he's just out there guessing. Or he's just reading the analytics improperly. Whichever way it is, this team underperforms. I am not a fan of the Chargers. I will take Tennessee at home plus the points. I do agree. I think we'll see we'll see a decent amount of scoring in this game as well. So my lean would be towards the over.
What'd you think of Derrick Henry getting out snapped by the rookie?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I worry about, like I said, now I like him to get more attempts this week, but you do worry about running backs in the NFL. When they hit the wall pretty hard. And I've said it's not just them necessarily hitting the wall; it's the coaching staff. You bring in the that's the way the NFL is now. You're going to churn these running backs over, 3, 4, 5 years of usage, and then that's it. You're bringing in the next fresh body. So you got to be careful. The NFL is all about, especially on the DFS side, it's all about getting the opportunities, not necessarily the skill. So you do have to worry about that when you're betting props, and certainly on the DFS side. When you start seeing that trend go one way, you start to believe in it. But I do think we do get we're going to just get more rushing on the whole, I think, out of Tennessee. Because they're going to be so successful with it. Take the ball out of Tannehill's hands. But yes, I think a higher chunk of the offense, or at least the rushing part of the offense, is going to go towards Spears.
All right. So it does seem like it's kind of a consensus here that we're taking the Titans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Taking the Titans. Beautiful. All right. So there you got another bet for you. Titans getting 2.5 points. Actually 3 points. I'm seeing 2.5s now. Now DraftKings got a 3 at -102. So we can get on that one. Giants and Cardinals. Wow. That was a complete ass whooping on Sunday night by the Giants. They're not that bad. Arizona's defense, I think, is going to keep them in a couple games, but Joshua Dobbs, are you kidding me? This offense has got some major issues. I'm looking for the Giants to bounce back here, JBC. First of all, are you with me? And second of all, do you want to lay points with the Giants on the road?
I do. Before the season, everybody's shitting on the Cardinals, and we take them with the 7 last week, and they go in there and frankly probably should have won the game. Daniel Jones has played a lot more than Howell. Let's put it that way. I think that, the way that the Cardinals defense looked last week is probably not indicative of how they're going to look moving forward. And it's going to be a bounce back. I think the Giants are going to rack them.
I mean, this makes sense here, stats. Do you want to trust the Giants, though? Going on the road, -4 with a total of 39.5. This total's come down a little bit too.
It has. I'm worried about the Giants in this spot. I know last week a lot of people are kind of dismissing it, and you do have to a degree. That game kind of, once it got rolling in the bad way there, when right off the get-go. They moved the ball early. They got that blocked field goal, and then that was it. Everything just snowballed on them. But you're playing, similar to that Buffalo Jet game the next night. Those are probably the two best defenses, potentially the Dallas defense and that Jet defense, the two best defenses in the league. And when they got that pass rush going against Daniel Jones, he just couldn't do anything. So I get why the public is going to come in here and take the Giants, and I'm just worried about the fact that so many people like the Giants here. So I'm going to go the contrarian pick. I'm going to take Arizona on this one. Where I'm most nervous about this game is in survivor pools. So the Giants are a really good survivor pool bet just because they are favored, and they're never going to be they're going to rarely be favored throughout the season. So I know a popular pick in survivors is kind of pick against Arizona this year. So in large pools, it's a play that I'm going to be going to, but I'm a little worried about it. I do like Arizona plus the points in the game.
All right, full fade for me. Let's move on to the Niners at the Rams. What was interesting in the Rams blowout win of the Seahawks, first of all, when you got Matt Stafford in there, I think it really gives him a chance against a lot of teams. He was not sacked last week, and I got to think, JBC, that is going to change this week. The Niners just look so good at Pittsburgh. So right now, I'm getting sevens. Yes, there's a couple 7.5s out there. So you can get Niners laying 7, 44.5 to 45.5 is the total. What do you think of the side first? And do you have any take on the total in this rivalry?
I think it's similar to last week where I think people are still too low on the Rams. With Stafford out there, it's just a different team. People look at what happened last year. Stafford missed a lot of those games. I don't see how they don't keep it within a touchdown. And on a similar note, the total's been moving up. I think they'll be able to score with Stafford out there. So, I like the Rams and I like the over.
Stats. Want to back the Rams? Want to back the over?
JBC nailed it on both sides. I think it's tough to give up 7.5 points at home and lay that with San Francisco. So I like the Rams here. If you can get 7 or 7.5, I would take either one of those numbers depending on the juice. And the side that I actually really like is the over, which he likes as well. So I like the over on this one. I've seen some sharp money come in actually on the over as well. So I'm backing the over, and I'll take the points with a little parlay on this one.
All right, very good. I'm actually looking. I'm diving into this right now. Maybe a little same game parlay here. Add some points. Get through that 11, maybe even an 11.5. Throw the total at 44. What am I coming up with? Plus 184. Now you got to hit both bets, but I do like throwing a little combo platter in there, and that's a game that I will now write down because when you guys are on the same side, thumbs up. Speaking of thumbs up, hit the like button. That'd be awesome.
Pleaser, Holden.
What's that?
Do a little pleaser. Get it down to Rams money line and over 50. Now we're talking.
No, that's a ballsy bet. I got big balls, but I'm not putting them on the table for the Rams, my friend. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. Now, the next game, Stats and I were talking, and I ended up hitting the under in the Jets-Dallas game. Stats, it was 39.5 at the time. I found a 39. This thing is now down to 38.5, 38. You also have an 8.5, 9-point spread. Jets at the Cowboys. Everybody saw the Cowboys. Everybody loves the Cowboys, except for the other half of the country that can't stand them. JBC, I'm going to go to Stats here first, just because he and I talked about this game on the Stats Stump earlier in the week. Did you end up hitting the under in this game, and did the Jets keep it close?
Unfortunately, I did not put it in. So I'm glad you did, because now I can live vicariously through you at that good number. I did say it was a bad number. I did not like the 39.5. I just thought I can't see, even at 38, I'm less inclined to take it. I don't see how either team scores in this game. I think people are just overlooking the fact, this is an 8.5-point spread, and this this Cowboy offense, I'm still not sold on as of yet. Now they've changed the offense. McCarthy's calling the plays suddenly as if he was some great play caller before and he didn't have Aaron Rodgers. Drives me absolutely bananas. They're like, oh, the offense looked great. The offense did not look great against the Giants. That defense looked great against the Giants, and that defense is going to look great again. But I got news for you. That Jet defense is going to look just as good. So that's why I'm worried about 8.5 is going to be a lot. 8.5, 9 points. That's going to be a lot of points to cover in this game for two teams that I don't think are going to be able to score. So my lean would definitely be on the Jets as well.
JBC, you want back the Jets or the total under?
I'm on the Cowboys. I think that the Jets aren't going to, he spoke about both teams not being able to move the ball, but the Jets are going to have a much tougher time moving the ball. And the Cowboys should be able to take advantage of some field position advantages. And I think we're looking at a 24-7 type game where the Cowboys have no problem winning.
You going to bet an under on this one or just decide with the Cowboys?
Just Dallas.
All right. Very good. Last game that we're going to talk about in the NFL, then we'll get over to the college side. Broncos games are just gross to watch. And it was another gross one last week. This week, they host another gross team in the Washington Commanders, Sam Howell, Russell Wilson. We've got a 38.5 total. We've got the Broncos 3 and a hook. I actually see them up to 4. So this thing moved from 3 to 3 and a hook. And in some places, 4 now. This is a 1916 game, JBC. I'm going to need to do more number crunching to actually bet the under. But boy, this game is disgusting. Do you have a side or a total bet?
I liked Denver last week. I like him again this week. I think it's going to be similar to last season where Russell, just with the new offense again, he improves slowly as the year goes on. And I don't think the Broncos are nearly as bad as they looked, but I've been saying that for a year and a half now. So, but I'm backing Denver again.
Oof, it's tough to do that when they're favorites, man. Every game is so close. Stats. So stay away for now. You like it?
I don't like it, but yeah, I mean the Denver's going to suck me in again as well. I'm kind of in the same boat. I've been waiting for Wilson, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know. I was so optimistic going into the year, and then last week it just whatever happened there happened. So, but I mean, what am I backing here with Washington? I mean, Washington probably should have lost that game at home last week to Arizona. So you got two teams coming off a disappointing game. I mean, I just don't like it at all as far as a bet goes. Yeah, I mean, from the only side maybe on the total, I know sharp money was coming in on the under. It's amazing that these low totals and still getting bet by sharps on the under. That has moved it. Where are we at now? It's like 30. They came in 39.5, I believe, and now it's down. You can get 39. Yeah, some sharp money came in at 39.5 that we saw. So not as much. 38 is obviously an important number, but I wouldn't take either side of this game. I would lean towards the under.
Yeah, I think this would be a nice live betting opportunity. If you get this at a pick 'em, maybe Washington comes out, scores on the first drive. I would like to back it there, but nothing pre-flop. All right, we are halfway. Hold on a second. How did picking winners go from having Mangone on it last year to having two random dudes I've never seen from RPS and a host? First of all, I hosted it last year, Cody H. Second of all, these are two of the best bettors that I've known, and I've only known them for a couple weeks here. What a fall off. Why don't you fall off a bridge, Cody? While you're at it, I'll come visit you while you're flipping burgers at Wendy's, and then we could talk about it, and I will start talking to you about how shitty you are at your job. Anyways, that's JBC. That's Statsational. As we mentioned before, let me go pull up the numbers one more time as to what these gentlemen did in the last month. They're actually here in September, okay? If you are up plus 19 units in September, raise your hand. JBC, you're supposed to raise your hand. Okay, if you are up 28.9 units in September, raise your hand. Stats, raise your hand. Okay, that's how it is. So Cody H, ba-boom. Hit the like button while you're at it because I gave you some attention. Anyways, let me tell you what's going on here at Run Pure Sports. The DFS side, you guys know the DFS side continues to roll. We've added new talent here with Stats, with JBC, with Dan, and with some others. So at Third and Schlong is there to help out with the cash side. We still have our studs. Of course, you know who it is. Yeah, thank you, Josh. Yeah, suck it, Cody. Anyways, Big T, AP, JSU, Mangone. If I'm leaving you guys out, it's okay. Definitely not Uncle T, but the bet side, it's a new bet side this year. And again, they've been crushing it. Stats, what are some of the new tools that people will see on the bet side that we haven't seen there in the past? Because again, I started the show saying the proptimizer got me hard, and it did.
Yeah, no, that's right now on the bet side. We got a ton on the DFS side. The bet side, that tool is worth its weight in gold. So you guys are going to want to check that out. It's free right now for all the subscribers, all RPS members right now. So I would check it out and use it if you're a DFS player. Utilize the props for DFS too. I'm going to try to put a video together on how you can use the props in order to figure out what the projection should be for DFS. Real simple to do, and when you have a tool like that, it makes it really easy. So, yeah, we got a lot of good stuff there.
I'm convinced that this guy is a Mangone burner because he might be the first person ever in my life to tell me that Mangone was better than me. And so I'm convinced it's just Mangone talking.
I'm going to stay out of that. I mean, you don't mess with Mangone. Don't underestimate Mangone's all I'm saying. Do you play ping pong?
Oh, no, me and Mangone have been talking shit about ping pong already.
Really? That might be a good one. If they stop having the I'm not going to go down that road with the party. Anyways, pure chaos. Dallas about to stomp the Jets. I bet you head up. So slide into the DMs, pure chaos. What's the minimum bet you'll take? Is it $1,000, JBC?
What, on the Jets?
No, he likes it's me. Yeah,
he's talking about you. All right,
I took the Jet side plus the points, but it's not a bet that I like. But if I'm leaning that way, just because I think the game is too low scoring to give up that many points. But yeah, I'm giving you my opinion. I'm letting you know when I bet it.
Cody with a 180 here. Sharpest guys I've never heard of in my life. Well, good. Now you heard of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, the sharpest guys in the world you've definitely never heard of. So
they're all behind. They're in the syndicates.
Trust me, you've never heard of the sharpest guys who are out there.
Is Benny the Fish one of the sharpest guys out there? No?
Junior Bacon Cheeseburger is the sharpest guy out there.
What points you want? All right, pure chaos. Come back next week and tell us how you did, win or lose. We've got 5 college games we're going to get into right now. We'll talk about sides and totals there. JBC, how'd we do last week in college? Let's be transparent. Was it good or bad?
I think it was bad, because Colorado, God, dude, I got nothing to say about Colorado.
Yeah, well, we're starting with them this week, my friend. Colorado State at Colorado. Buffs 23.5-point favorites. Before the Nebraska shellacking, they were 17-point favorites. They have just demolished TCU and Nebraska. Colorado had to take a week off after losing to Washington State. You've got Jay Norvell, the head coach of the Rams, talking shit to Deion Sanders, saying, Mama told me when I do interviews, no sunglasses or hats. Deion Sanders just gave sunglasses to every single one of his players. This is a pissed off Colorado team. You buying into the narrative. Are they 25 points better than CSU, JBC?
I think so. Colorado, and I've done a 180 on this. Colorado, especially Shedeur Sanders, has looked so good the first 2 weeks. He just doesn't make many mistakes. And against a team as bad as Colorado State, the only way that they can keep it close is if the quarterback fucks up. I don't think he's going to fuck up. So I'm laying the points in Colorado this week.
Yeah, Rams just benched Clay Millen too. Hugh Millen's son. Hugh Millen's got a chance to know a little bit. Good college football player. Had a cup of coffee with the Seahawks. But Clay Millen's been benched. Braden Fowler Nicolosi is now the starter against the Buffs. Stats any take on the Rams and Buffaloes?
Yeah, I mean, we both got it as wrong as could be last week. Is it an overreaction? Again, possibly. I mean, the public is all over Colorado again, as they will be each and every week. Mm-hmm. I hate being on the side of the public, but it's a no bet for me. But you ask my opinion on it, 23.5. I'll lay the points, but yeah, I'll lay the points here, and I'll be on the side as the public. But I can't bet this game. There's no way I could bet it.
Total went from 60 to 63, by the way. Tennessee, Florida is the next game. Vols -6. Total dropping like hotcakes from 58 to 56.5 this morning. Week 1, Utes handled the Gators with a backup quarterback. Not good, was it? Tennessee has beaten Austin Peay, and they were a 50-point favorite, and it was a 10-point game in the fourth quarter. JBC, you wanted to talk about this SEC matchup. What do you like from it?
A lot of people are against me here, but I like Tennessee. They talk about Florida having an 11-year winning streak or whatever it is, and how they've dominated them in the swamp and everything. But Florida did not show me anything in that first game that makes me have any belief in them. And I think Tennessee's got the better quarterback. Tennessee's got the better horse on offense. I think they beat them.
Okay. What do you think here, Stats?
Yeah, I'm on the same side. So I like Tennessee. I think it's been since 03 since they've won in Florida. I'll take the point. I'll lay the points on this one. I like Tennessee. Again, I just think quarterback, better team. 6.5. That's an easy cover for Tennessee this week.
All right, let's move on to game number 3. LSU, Mississippi State down in Mississippi, where the Tigers are 9.5-point favorites. Total sitting at 53.5. Bulldogs, completely different offense than we've seen in the past. Mike Leach passing. Now we've got an assistant. Now they're running the ball 63% of the time. People are saying, must-win game for LSU. Well, yeah, to get to the college football playoff. JBC, yeah, you're shaking your head up and down. Are you backing LSU in this one?
I am, and the line's been moving up, and with good reason. I think the people overreacted to them getting their ass kicked by Florida State, when in reality that game could have gone the other way just as easily. And I don't think Mississippi State has anything for them, and you'll see LSU look a lot more like they did last year this week.
LSU minus 9.5, 53.5 total. Stats. You want to play in this game?
I think it's only a play if you can get 10, and obviously that means I like the dog. So if at 10, I think you could take the underdog on this game. Otherwise, the 9.5, I would stay away. I haven't seen anything as far as the sharps or the public necessarily on this one yet. So no info to report there. But yeah, I would take small bet plus the 10 if I could get it.
All right, next game. I'm a Kansas grad, and I don't like Kansas State, but I hate Missouri with a passion. They can burn in hell, and that's just the start of it for my loathing of Missouri. Kansas State, 3.5-point favorites. You get a hook there. 49 as the total. Kansas State, now they played Southeast Missouri and Troy, but they did average almost 500 yards a game over those two. Missouri's Brady Cook, quarterback, mediocre against South Dakota State and Middle Tennessee State. JBC, is it Kansas State minus 3.5? Is it over under the total 49? What do you got?
I like Missouri in this game. With a total of 49 at home, you got to think it's going to be a rock fight. And when you get in that situation where it's going to be 16-13, 17-14, take the points.
Stats, please don't make me sad. Back Missouri.
No, well, I'm going the opposite way, and I'm going to take Kansas State. We saw. I'm seeing the. Did he take Kansas State on this one?
No, he took Missouri.
He took Missouri, right? Okay, so I'm going the opposite way. I'm taking Kansas State. I'm going to lay the points. Unfortunately, it's the same side as the public that we're seeing right now, which I hate to be on that side, but I'm going to lay the points in this one. I'd love to get it a little bit lower. I don't want to lay the hook, so this is not a bet that I've made as of yet. We'll see if it keeps coming down. Like I said, I think it went from 6 and we've got to 3.5. So I would hold off and wait. This is another one that 3.5 is a little too much. 3, I might get a little taste of it.
The public's been right about a couple of things here. There was 99% of the bets on the TJ Hawkinson over receptions yesterday, like 90-something% of the bets on Colorado to win last week and to cover last week. I don't remember what happened with the Josh Allen prop. It was like 36.5. He might end up with 36, but there's just public's been winning some games. It'll all even out in the end. But
I want to say one thing about what he's saying to begin with.
Yeah.
The public is going to be right half the time. They're flipping coins. So being on the public side does not necessarily make it wrong. I just wanted to point that out.
Well, the one thing that I'll defend you on this game is the fact that the public is on this game, yet on the Kansas State side, yet and the line keeps moving the opposite way. So that definitely gives a little bit more favor if you're a line reader towards the Mizzou side of the game.
Let's get to our last game, boys. Interesting one. Washington and Michigan State. Huskies 4.5-point favorites on the road. Total 57.5. A lot of controversy going on with the Spartans. Mel Tucker, their head coach, suspended without pay. Sexual harassment allegations. Washington on the other side looking amazing. Michael Penix Jr. is 37. He's the Perry Ellis of college football. He's just not going anywhere. So let's talk about this. Do you want to take Washington on the road? JBC?
I do. I think there's, Michigan State's going through so much flux, and Washington just really looks like an offensive juggernaut. Penix is a legitimate Heisman contender. They're a little under the radar because they're out there on the West Coast. I really think they're going to come in there and just show out and beat the shit out of them.
Is it going to be a shit stomping? Stats?
Yeah.
Are you on the same side as JBC 69?
Yeah, I'm on the same side as well. I think this is a major step up. I mean, yeah, with all the mess that's going on with Michigan State, they did start off pretty good, but now they're just, I think they're stepping up in class to a level that they're not going to be able to handle. So I think it all kind of falls apart for them this week. You look at the line also kind of moving in that direction, 14 up to kind of bounce around that 16.5, 17. The one thing we are seeing as far as the total, I did see some sharp money come in on the under. So that was at 58.5. So, and that has moved the line down. So I think it opened at 59 on the total. So, yeah, I would lay the points, a lot of points on the road. I got it, but I think this is a major step up in class here for Michigan State.
JBC, how did you come up with your handle JBC 69? Please let us know.
You talking about the numbers or the JVC?
Just anything. How'd you come up with that number? It's odd.
I mean, I feel like it's a fairly common number for people to have in their Twitter handle.
Is it now?
Yeah.
What does it represent?
I don't know, man. It's just a special number to a lot of people that a lot of people enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, he's at the size of a typical offensive center now. So, and that's a number that they wear.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get out of here. Like button on the way out. It'd be really nice if you hit the like button. Josh D, where is this proptimizer? So go over to the bet side and go under player props. And when you click on player props, you'll see the proptimizer. So that's one of our new tools on the bet side. Of course, the DFS side, we'll keep rolling. We'll get you our cores. All of our coordinators give you their best plays, their best lineup. All you got to do is fill in 2 or 3 spots, and we'll see how you do during NFL season. So another great show from the gentlemen today. It was wonderful seeing you, JBC. It was wonderful seeing you again, Stats. We'll still have our baseball shows coming up throughout the rest of the regular season. We'll be doing some playoff baseball as well. And stay tuned, because at 8:45 a.m. Eastern time, that is when our NFL coverage starts on Sunday. We start really, really early in the morning, at least my time at 6:45, and we go right through up to lock. I don't know if I'm going to do the hardwood this week, since I said Hunter Renfrow is going to have a big week. But listen, sometimes you're going to be right. Sometimes you're going to be wrong. I was definitely wrong there. Off the chalk, 8:45 Eastern, APJT locks. Morning Wood, Tony, JSU, Wiley. My name's not on there, so maybe I get this week off. Holden, that's me. Mangone, DC, final countdown, 9:30. So that'd be 11:30 up until lock every Sunday morning during the NFL season. For JBC, for Statsational, I'm Holden. Keep running pure.